Why do I suck at drawing? Hey guys, I'm Mr. Jonathan. Some of my students told me that they don't like drawing or they hate drawing. And I wonder what I can do to help them, because some of you might think that drawing is a talent, and if you don't have this talent, you will never be good at it. Which is wrong. Because I think that if you work hard enough, you can be good at it as well. You just need to put a little time and effort into it. So today I will show you a couple of drawings that I did. I will let you see the process of me drawing it, and also I'll tell you something about it to tell you guys what I was thinking when I'm drawing, to give you some thought process I had, and also some ideas on drawing and some maybe tips and tricks to it too. Okay? It takes a lot of time to draw these two pictures. Ow. Well, just know that Mr. Jonathan is not very good at drawing, but I feel like I could be creative when I'm drawing, and that's why I like it so much. So I hope you enjoy this video. So in most of the drawing, there are two steps. Number one being sketching. You need to draw the line for all the things in your picture. And second step is coloring. You need to put color into your drawing. Both of these steps need some skills that I want to teach you in today's lesson. So let's take a look at the first drawing that I did. Voila! This is an example of one of the worksheets Mr. Jonathan has designed for my art lessons. So if I teach you art, you are probably going to do this worksheet. So here you can see the title is about our school campus 100-year celebration, and the task is to find the hidden number of 100. In this picture, the number 100 is hidden somewhere. Can you find it? I'll give you 5 seconds. And the answer is right here. This is what it looks like when my students get the worksheet. They have to draw and design whatever they want to hide this number in their drawing. So let's move on to the next picture. In this picture, can you find the hidden 100? It is now hidden somewhere else. I'll give you 10 seconds to find it. And the hidden 100 is right here. Did you find it? Can you find it? Great job, everyone. So Mr. Jonathan designed this worksheet just because I want to inspire students to be creative, to draw more things around the number 100, to try to hide the number for others to guess or to seek where the hidden 100 is. There are different versions of worksheet, and each student get a different one. So this is quite a fun activity for my art lessons. Now, let me show you how did I draw it. Let's start with the first step, sketching. So looking at this number of 100, I just had no other ideas but to go for windows, because that's all I see. I want to draw a lot of buildings and windows just to confuse the people who are looking at this picture, and it makes it very hard to find the number 100 through all those windows and buildings, and that's what I did. For the step of sketching, you don't need to go into details, because as you can see here, Mr. Jonathan also makes some mistakes, and that's okay, because this is just part of sketching. You are not doing any solid work right now, and you don't need to go for details. You just need to draw what you see on your mind and try to figure out all those 3D shapes, because sometimes you just feel like those lines doesn't make sense because you don't understand how those 3D shapes work. But you can learn it by practicing on some simple objects like a rectangle or a square or a round object, and try to draw it until it makes sense. Those lines look different when you look at it from a different angle, and that's why you need to know how to draw those lines perfectly in order to make the drawing look good. 3D shapes is one of the more important and basic skills that you need to know how to draw. Without that, you are going to make a lot of mistakes, like this. and you have to know how to fix your mistakes by understanding how those 3D shapes look in real life. You can see that after you have your first sketch, you can start with a little bit of details in your drawing. I focus a lot on the light and the surroundings because I want this picture to be very dark and blue, but there are also a lot of lights glowing from the buildings. I try to sketch out all the buildings and all the structure, and some say that when you're drawing you should not be using a ruler for some reason. But I don't understand it. I don't agree with it because sometimes the drawing calls for a ruler. I think some situation you have to use a ruler to make it look better because something like structures and buildings, these things, they need straight lines, and straight lines just make them that much more better. And that's why you can always use ruler if you find it necessary. And then here you see that I'm struggling a lot into these details. It is not very necessary, but it gives you a lot of satisfaction after you have paid a lot of effort and time into all these small things. And yes, it is so much work, but it is worth it. So don't be afraid to go into details and spend so much time onto so little things because people will notice, and when they notice, it is an amazing feeling. So here I was trying to draw a convenience store, and I wanted to try to draw something inside of the convenience store. I've never done something like this before, but it is quite interesting to see the result because it looks pretty cool to draw something that is so detailed and unnecessary. As you can see, Mr. Jonathan is also experimenting. You should always try for something new and something fun in your drawing so that you can be more creative every time and learn something from your own drawing. And that's kind of the whole point of drawing. I mean, art is just a question of how much time and effort are you willing to spend on your own drawing. For example, if I asked you to draw me a box, what would you do? Would you just draw something like this, or would you spend a little bit more time and effort into think about maybe you want to make it a 3D shape, or maybe you want to add a little details into the box, maybe you want to add some lights and shadows to it, or maybe some color. If you ever draw something that doesn't look good or it looks ugly, it is not talent that you are missing. All you need is some time and effort. Got it? So don't just give up too easily when it comes to drawing. Don't just say, I'm so bad at drawing and I don't like it, I hate drawing. I just spit on my microphone. So there you have it. The first step of the drawing done. And now let's move on to coloring. So when you're coloring, it's good to start with something simple because there are a lot of different coloring tools out there, and I would suggest all of us to try to use color pencil because it is such a good tool and you can learn a lot about colors when you're using color pencil and also color mixing in the process. And some of the color pencil allow you to use water to mix with it to make it a smoother and a richer surface. When you're coloring in your drawing, try to fill in all the white space because you might feel like it is too much trouble to fill in all the white space, but actually white space do a lot of damage in your drawing. I don't really like seeing a lot of white space in between the colors and also anywhere on the paper because color is fun. You should always use color to cover up the whole drawing unless that part is just white, you know? You should not think that it is too much trouble to color the whole thing. It is important for you to fill in all the white space most of the time. And when you are doing color, you can always think about the shadows. Now, I know shadows might be something difficult for you, but you can always get it right and practice by doing more and more drawing. You will improve over time when you're doing shadows. So don't worry too much about it. Just use a darker color for the shadows and a lighter color for places where there is light. As you can see, I spend a lot of time doing details as well using colors. You can also add lines to your coloring to make it more detailed, and those lines could help to create texture for your drawing. So when you're coloring, there's always going to be mistakes that you make, and that's okay because you need to learn and understand how to do the shadows and lights correctly, like where the shadow is, where is the light coming from. You need to keep practicing it and draw more and more and more until you understand and be confident in your drawing. Here I wanted to add more lights to the drawing, so I tried to add a bit of glow using a light yellow color so you can see where the light is coming from in the drawing. And also when you add light, it's better if you add some highlights like this one. You are adding some white lines that are at the edge of the outline of the objects where the light is coming from. This adds another layer of light that could make the drawing more realistic. So there you have it, the second drawing done. Did you like it? Do you like to watch Mr. Jonathan's speed draw? If you like it, tell me in the comment and maybe I can make more for you guys. Alright, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye.